Hi guys, and welcome to another episode of Crochet. My name is Jeremy, and this is Tate. Oh, he's getting a little excited. We just got him. He's so adorable. He's a Bernedoodle, and I just wanted to introduce him to you guys. Okay, all right, I know. And so I just wanted to introduce him to you guys. On today's episode, I'm going to be going over Mosaic Crochet. Super easy. So much fun. Super easy, so much fun, and let's go ahead and get to it. Okay guys, I'm so excited to start this with you and to show you how to start your mosaic project. It's so much fun to do these. It is so much fun. It is so easy. It looks intimidating. The patterns look intimidating, and I'll get more into the patterns later and all that kind of stuff, but it is so much fun. It is so easy to do this, and I'm gonna show you how in this video. To start your row when you're doing mosaics, it's called, the first stitch is called a border stitch. And how you do that is you're gonna find your very first, because you do your foundation rows right here. So you do your chains, you do your foundation row, and then what it's gonna do is it's gonna have this little loop here. So you're going to go through both of those loops like you would be doing a normal single crochet, and you're going to do a slip stitch. And I'm using this really cute yarn here. It's a little fuzzy. But I like to leave a nice little tail, on it. But all you do is a slip stitch. So you pull this through like this, and get that tail out of the way. And then you do yarn over, pull it through, boom. And but it doesn't end there. To do your border stitch, after you do your little slip stitch, you're going to go back through both of those loops, that very first stitch. You're going to go through both of those again, and then you're going to yarn over, you're going to pull it through again in the same stitch, and then you're going to do a single crochet. And that is your border stitch. So let's do that again, just in case it was a little confusing or anything. So you have your yarn, and I'm going to grab it. I'm going to hold on to it. Sorry, not grab it. I'm going to go through both of these loops here to do like a single crochet, just like you would do a single crochet. Now I'm going to grab my yarn. I'm going to pull it through, and then I'm going to leave the tail alone, get that tail out of the way, and then I'm going to just go ahead and yarn over, pull it through, do a little slip stitch there, and then through the same stitch, I'm going to go through both of these loops. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull it through that stitch, and the same stitch, and I'm going to do a single crochet. So I've done two stitches in that very first stitch. I did a slip stitch, and then I went through and I did a single crochet. So let's do that one more time. Okay, I'm going to go through both of these loops right here. I'm going to get my yarn, and I'm going to pull that through that stitch. Now I'm going to grab that yarn, and see, it kind of gets, you're gonna have to pull it back tight like that. And I'm going to yarn over, do a slip stitch, then I'm going to go through both of those loops again. I'm going to yarn over, I'm going to pull it through and do a single crochet. There should be 2 loops on your hook. You're gonna single crochet that bad boy. And now you're ready for your row. So that's called a border stitch. Now, the double crochets and the single crochets, I'm gonna show you in just a second. But this is the double crochets, and then of course, these are the single crochets. And the way that you work this pattern is you're gonna go through, you always go through the back loop here, not through both of them like you would do a normal stitch. But you're gonna always go through the back loop here. This is the back loop here. There's the front loop and the back loop. I'm gonna get into all that in just a second. So let's go ahead and move forward, and I'll keep explaining on how to do this mosaic crochet. Okay guys, so as you can see in my pattern here, there is this, I'm on this row right here, and what I meant at the beginning is with the whole drop double stitch is it's really very, very simple. My pattern calls for me to do a double crochet, but instead of just doing a regular double crochet, I'm gonna yarn over. I'm gonna go below this light blue right here, below this stitch to this stitch right here. I'm gonna go under this stitch, and then I'm gonna catch my yarn. I'm gonna pull it through. I have 3 on my hook. I'm going to do 2, and then go through 2 more, do my double crochet. And then it says to do a single crochet on my pattern next. So I'm gonna find the loops right here, the stitch, and I'm gonna go through the back stitch right here. Always through the back stitch on these mosaic crochets, unless indicated otherwise. But you go through the back stitch, you yarn over, you pull it through. We're gonna do a single crochet right through there. The next stitch that they're telling me to do is another double crochet. And as you can see, here's the bar right here where I'm gonna do a drop double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to go through this stitch right here. I'm gonna yarn over, I'm gonna pull it through that stitch right there. I'm gonna yarn over again, pull it through those 2, and yarn over and pull it through those 2, do a double crochet. And now I'm gonna do, the pattern calls for me to do 2 single crochets. So I'm gonna go through the back. I'm gonna go through the back loop here. This back loop, I'm gonna yarn over, I'm gonna pull it through. I'm going to do 1 single crochet. I'm gonna see there's 2 loops right here that make up this stitch. There's 1, 2, makes like a little V here. So I'm just gonna go into this back stitch here. I'm going to yarn over, I'm gonna pull it through, and then I'm gonna do another single crochet. And then the pattern calls for me to do another double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm not gonna do anything with this stitch here. I'm gonna go down, drop down to this stitch here. I'm gonna go yarn over, pull it through. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through those 2, yarn over, pull it through those 2, and then the pattern calls for me to do a single crochet. So I'm gonna go back up to this light blue. I'm going to go through the back post here, this back loop here. I'm gonna yarn over, pull it through. I'm going to do a single crochet. It calls for me to do another single crochet. So I'm gonna go through this back loop here. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. I'm going to do another single crochet. And then the pattern calls for me to do a double crochet. So we're gonna yarn over, find that loop right here that's below this loop. Anytime that there's a double crochet on the pattern, you're gonna drop down and you're gonna go to this loop here. You're not gonna do anything with this crochet stitch right here. You drop down and you grab this one and you go through and you do your double crochet. So it doesn't hook to this stitch at all. And then it calls for another single crochet. So I'm gonna go to that, find that back loop. I'm gonna go through there. I'm gonna do a single crochet. And this whole pattern is all single and double crochets. That's all it is. The only thing is when it asks for it to do a double crochet, I'm just dropping that double crochet down. I'm going down, I'm finding that loop, which is right here, and then I'm double crocheting with it. And that's it. That's all the mosaic pattern calls for, is a single and a double crochet, and always through the back loop, not through both of them like you normally do a crochet. You normally get both of these loops on your hook here, and you go through and you do your single crochet. Well, not in mosaic crochet. Mosaic crochet, you want to always go through this back loop here, and you do your single or your double crochet, whatever the pattern calls for. I think this is calling for me to do a double crochet here. So I'm going to find this loop. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through 2, and then yarn over and pull it through 2, and that's that stitch. And see what it does? It makes this line here, just like this one. So, and that's all you're doing, is you're just dropping that stitch down to that post there. So I'm going to do 2 single crochets because that's what the pattern calls for. So I'm going to find that back loop. When you yarn over, pull it through that back loop, yarn over, pull it through again for a single crochet, another single crochet. I'm going to find that back loop. I'm going to put it through there. When you yarn over, pull it through, do another single crochet, and then I have to do another double crochet. So I'm going to yarn over. I'm going to find that loop right there. I'm going to stick my hook through that loop. I'm going to yarn over, pull it through, and I'm going to do a double crochet. So that's 2, yarn over, and pull it through 2 more. And it leaves this nice line here. And that's all you're doing through this whole pattern, is just single crochets and double crochets. So we're gonna do 2 single crochets. That's finding this back loop here, coming through it, doing a single crochet, doing another single crochet, and then doing 1 double crochet here, find that loop, go through it, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through, yarn over, pull it through. So when you're doing the mosaics, it's just a single or a double crochet. That's it. And you just have to go through the back loop of your stitch right here, this back loop. So there's front loop and back loop, front loop, back loop, back loop. So, and it makes these beautiful mosaic patterns and such. And you can find so many great patterns for the mosaic by going to this pattern by Tinna. She's amazing. I believe she's Icelandic. She was living in Cuba, and she just does these incredible mosaic patterns, you guys. And I really want you to go and check her out. On Instagram, she's at TINNAHEKL on Instagram. But you can find her also on YouTube. If you look up Tinna, TINNA, crochet, just search for Tinna with 2 N's, crochet, and you'll find her YouTube channel. And she's amazing, and that's where I get all these patterns from. And it's where a friend of mine named David Marvel actually taught me this, and he showed me her. And so he taught me how to do this, and it's so easy, you guys. It is so easy. just remember that when you do it on the pattern, when it says double crochet, you just go down, you find that bar, you go through it, and you do your double crochet. Then you go do your, if it's a single, you do a single crochet through the back loop, and it's just, you know, it's so easy. So double crochets, you drop down to this one here. Single crochets are always in the back, that back loop right there. So it's just so much fun, so easy to do. And but yeah, go find a pattern, and they're on Ravelry. You can go find patterns for Mosaic Crochet on Ravelry, and that's it. But let's look at the pattern, and I'll teach you how to read the pattern next. Hey guys, so in teaching you how to read a pattern by someone, what you're gonna see is something like this, a bunch of X's and a bunch of blank spaces. So the X's are actually double crochets, and like I showed you before, the double crochets go down. So to start these rows off, you would do color A, and you would do all single crochets across the entire bottom. And then you do another color B, single crochets all across. And then whenever you get to here, to this, the X's mean double crochet. So you do the double crochet down. So it'll be single, 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 and then when you get to this row, it's double crochets going down, and then single crochets, and then double crochets going down. So that's all these patterns are. It's just single and double crochets. The very first stitch that you do over here would be your border stitch, and I showed you guys how to do that at the beginning of the video of how to do a border stitch. It's just a slip stitch. In the same hole, you're going to do a single crochet. So it's a slip stitch and a single crochet in the same hole. So I hope that helps out. Patterns are very easy to read. They also come with written instructions usually, but that's it. That's how you read a pattern, and it comes out with all these designs when you're done. So that's it. Okay, let's move on. Okay, so you might be wondering, like, you know, what happens at the end of the rows that you're working? Because unlike regular crochet, you go back and forth like this, back and forth. With this one, you actually, when you get to the end here, you actually cut the end. You cut it. So you're doing one line of color and you cut it. The other line of color, you cut it. You keep doing that back and forth. So each row, you cut your yarn and you start fresh at the beginning of the next row. So like this pattern right here, I'm gonna be doing all these double crochets. So I go drop down, do my double crochet. We're gonna do another double crochet. So I forget this row right here. When it has an X and it's a double crochet, you don't do anything with this. You go to this right here, you go underneath it. You go underneath it, there we go. You yarn over, you pull it through, and you do your double crochet. So let's do that a couple more times so we get to the end of the row. I just wanted to show you guys all of this. I just love doing mosaics. Mosaics now that I've learned. We got one more, and now we are at the end of the row. And as you can see, this is left over from the last row that we did. So this is the last row that we did. Now what we want to do is, now this is the only time that you're going to go through both of the loops here. Because see how it does that? It's that V that happens. That's both of the loops that you're going to put on your hook. The rest of the time that you're working your project, you're going to go through this back loop here. But for the last stitch on that row, you're going to go through both of those loops here. So all you want to do is you want to do a single crochet. That's just yarning over, pulling it through both of those loops. Yarning over, pulling it through both of those. And then to finish it off, we're going to leave like a nice amount of, of yarn left over. And we're gonna take our nifty little scissors here. We're going to cut it. I know, which is so insane to do because in regular crochet, it's like, no. So you just yarn it over and you're just gonna pull that right through that stitch. And you're gonna pull it a little tight, and there you go. That's the end of that row. So you just single crochet through, you cut your yarn, and then you just pull it through, and then that's how you do it. All right, that is how you do the mosaic crochet. I can't wait till this is done. I'm gonna show you guys more done, but I'm gonna show you a project that I just finished. It was with all my leftover yarns. It was such a fun project. You just take all of your leftover yarn and you do this mosaic piece, and it's so easy. And I will put the link to Tinna's YouTube channel. I will put the link to these patterns on Ravelry. I will put the link to Tinna, to Ravelry, and yeah, I think that's it. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I hope it was informative, and I will see you next time. Thanks, guys. All right, guys, so there you have it. I hope that you liked it. I hope that it was easily explained. I love this pattern, this technique. It is so much fun, and it is so easy to do once you get the hang of it. It's just all single and double crochets and just going through the back loop of your stitch, and it's dropping down and catching that loop underneath. That's all it is. So many patterns on Ravelry, so many patterns from Tinna. So much fun to find one and to start. You can use all of your leftover yarns to do a pattern, which I just did. I'll put a picture in here. And that's all. So I hope you guys enjoyed this. I will see you guys at the next one.